Jags, it's Gianna here, bringing you At Home with TJTV. Today is Thursday, February 4th, 2021. Let's kick the show off with Priyam, who's going to show you how Google Doc shortcuts work. Thank you. That'll make school projects 10 times faster. Now let's learn how to make a beautiful painting with a string.
Hello Jags, I'm Bailey and I'm going to teach you how to make string paint art. For this project you will need something to paint on, a paintbrush, scissors, string of any color, paint of your choosing, and a paper plate. Now you're going to put your paint down. I'm going for a sunset theme, hence the red, yellow, and orange. Now you take your string, cut it. Yours doesn't have to be this long. I don't know why I made mine this long. But basically you're going to take the paintbrush and paint the string. I wanted the red to be at this top, fade into the orange, and then the orange fades into the yellow. That's why I have the order that I did. Keep that in mind when you're painting your string. Now take your canvas and find a 2-page spread. Lay your string out in a wavy or loop-de-loop pattern. Press the book down and pull out the string slowly. You'll be left with a beautiful pattern. Voila! Beautiful, right? This is a galaxy-themed one that I'm decorating with gold paint. Here are the finished projects. I kind of smudged this one up, but it's okay because we have 2. I hope you enjoyed this segment, and I gotta go. Bye!
Thank you, Bailey. You could probably incorporate some of your own drawings into it as well. We'll be back after this short commercial break.
Wear a mask
to be safe and save others.
Now let's go to Tony about COVID information.
What's up, guys? I want to tell you how COVID-19 vaccines work. COVID-19 vaccines are interesting. To understand how they work, we have to take a look at how our body fights viruses. We have white blood cells, cells that destroy and eat viruses / dead cells. Macrophages eat germs and dead and dying cells. B lymphocytes are defensive cells. They produce antibodies that attack viruses. T lymphocytes are also defensive. They attack cells that have already been infected. The vaccine helps develop immunity to COVID without having to get us the illness. Currently, there are 3 types of vaccines in the U.S. mRNA vaccines contain material from the virus that causes COVID that gives our cells instructions on how to make a harmless protein which will ultimately kill the virus. Protein subunit vaccines include harmless pieces of the virus that cause COVID instead of the entire germ. Vector vaccines contain a weakened version of a live virus, a different virus than the one that causes COVID, that has genetic material from the virus that causes COVID-19 inserted in it. Getting vaccinated is one of the many steps you can take to protect yourself and others from COVID. Protection from COVID is crucially important because for some people, like the elderly and people with already existing diseases, it could cause severe illness or death. Stopping a pandemic requires using all the tools available. You can go to the CDC website to find out more for yourself. And that's going to be it.
Thank you, Tony. And last but certainly not least, I'll show you about Martin Luther King Jr. Hi, Jaguars! If you didn't know, this month of February is Black History Month, so today I will be presenting to you someone who you may already know. And yes, that's Martin Luther King Jr. In this presentation, I will be explaining to you his top 5 most important events in his life. But first, some background information. Martin Luther King was born on January 15, 1929. He was an American Baptist minister and activist who became the most visible spokesperson and leader in the civil rights movement. Now, let's go on to the top 5 events. Number 5, March on Washington. In 1963, Dr. King achieved perhaps his most important accomplishment when he helped lead over 200,000 people to the Lincoln Memorial overlooking the Washington Monument. It was here King made his famous I Have a Dream speech, which called an end to racism. Number 4, Montgomery bus boycott. On the same day that Rosa Parks was arrested for not giving up her seat on a bus for a white person, King led the boycott on the Montgomery, Alabama bus system. This lasted over a year. In result, King was arrested for leading the protest, was abused, threatened, and even had his house bombed. But his determination for justice and equality never stopped. Number 3, Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Dr. King served as the first president of the CSLC following the bus boycott. The SCLC consisted of ministers and other church leaders in Atlanta. Number 2, Birmingham Campaign. The SCLC promoted the great effort to end the Birmingham segregated civil and discriminatory economies policies. King's reputation improvised Jim Crow's laws ended and public businesses and restaurants were more open to African Americans. Lastly, number 1, Nobel Peace Prize. After his first years of historic accomplishments and triumph, King was honored with the Distinguished Award in 1964. At 35, King was the youngest man to ever receive the Nobel Peace Prize. MLK would traditionally use his prize money to help the efforts of the civil rights movement. And that's it. And that about wraps it up for today's show. Stay safe, Jags!